Now, there's also like a new ship in the campaign that's very iconic. It's almost its own character. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Oh yeah, the Spear of Dune. It's this massive, massive ship they find. It's an ancient one, and they board it. They run away from Ire, and it has all the upgrades on it. It's basically like the old campaigns we had for Wings of Liberty and Heart of the Swarm, where you're on the Leviathan or you're on the bridge of the Hyperion. It's the new equivalent of that, but it's even cooler. You have call downs in mission you can do, like huge blasts that come down or resource mineral gathering bonuses, those kind of things during the mission, as well as choosing different faction types. So say you have a Stalker and you want to choose a different faction, like instead of a Dark Templar you want to choose a regular Ire, and that becomes a Dragoon. Or maybe there's a Zealot that has a Dark Templar version of it.
So talk a little about the story and this, like what's going on in Legacy of the Void. So Kerrigan's back with the Swarm, and Minx has been destroyed. So what's going on now?
I mean, really, it's a big epic conclusion for all the storylines. I mean, we have all your favorite characters. We have Raynor, we have Kerrigan, Artanis, Zeratul, and it's really, we can't give away any big plot points, obviously, but it really is going to wrap up everything, I think, in a very satisfying way for the fans.
I saw on the show floor that the Zealots look a little bit different in this one, and I wasn't sure if it was a skin or a different design or.
Well, the Zealots do look a little different, and it's one of the factions, again, you can change on the Spear of Dune. So we have the typical, what's called the Ire Zealot, but then you can go like kind of a high armored version, and it's got this big like spear side blade thing that's amazing, and it can just swipe through guys with a whirlwind attack. Also, you can go to a Dark Templar version, which is just a kind of a dark colored one with green blades, and he has a blink attack, which is awesome.
So, as an artist, what are some of the challenges on blending everything together? Because the Zerg are very organic, and then the Protoss are very sleek in style, and they have to have the same kind of art direction to work together. It looks like they cohese in the same world.
It's a big challenge. I mean, I think the big part of it is, we're very familiar with the IP at this point. We've been making it a long time. We have a lot of new artists, but they've really embraced it, and so there's a lot of reference material we have for us. Also, it's a lot of techniques, like how we actually texture it, how we model it, and those kind of things. Keeping it consistent, it really helps out.
So do you have a favorite unit in Legacy of the Void you like to play as?
Yeah, actually, one of my favorite units in the campaign is, or multiplayer actually, is a Protoss Disruptor. It's this robotic unit that spins around, and when you activate it, it goes into this other state that's phased out, and then after a few seconds it'll blow up into this big AoE, so you can really use it positionally. It's great.
So the Protoss are very futuristic, and what is it like designing them to have all this cool technology?
It's a challenge because you want it to look really, high tech and cool, and these ideals that people have of like what anime high tech looks like, or the Star Wars, the Matrix, or something. But we want to make sure it fits in with our consistent world. And the Protoss have their own aesthetic with like the curved lines, the gold colors, and there's a little bit of high tech thrown in there, but it's very, very much clean lines.
So there's a lot of what influences do you pull from when designing this stuff? I mean, obviously, like lightsabers come to mind with their Zealot blades and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of influence. Again, we're super geeks, right? So we watch all the movies, we read a lot of old sci-fi books, comic books. So it's anything from Star Wars to the Matrix to some anime. I mean, it's a lot of different influences. And at this point, the world is so fleshed out, it really helps kind of build itself.
What was the most challenging thing to design in Legacy of the Void for you personally?
The most challenging thing personally for us was probably trying to show the homeworld for Protoss. Again, just trying to get it right. I think the only time we've ever shown it is like the background of Starcraft 1. There was like a briefing room that had like a bunch of little buildings that was kind of like the home city. It was like very low detail. And so we wanted to make sure to really get that right, because it's the last chance we're going to show up for the campaign.
And what are you most looking forward to for people to experience with Legacy of the Void?
I think it's really the story, just everything coming together. It's like, throughout these 3 games, all the stories and the characters really coming together at the end for this really awesome conclusion. And I think that people are going to be really excited about what happens.
And when can people play Legacy of the Void?
Whenever it comes out.